Greece, land of sun-drenched islands where the azure waters meet the golden shores, and the echoing ruins of great civilizations, whispering tales of a glorious past. Birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and those captivating narratives we call myths, which have shaped the very essence of Western thought. These tales, passed down through generations, tell of powerful gods and goddesses who ruled from atop Mount Olympus, the highest peak in Greece. They were not distant, unknowable beings, but figures of passion, vengeance, love, and trickery, very much like us mortals, just with more impressive powers and divine influence. These stories weren't merely fanciful tales, but profound narratives that held deep meaning. They were woven into the very fabric of Greek life, influencing festivals, daily routines, and even the arts. They explained the natural world, from the crashing thunder to the gentle breeze, attributing every phenomenon to the whims of the gods. They dictated moral codes, societal structures, and even political systems, guiding the Greeks in every aspect of life. To understand the Greeks, one must first understand their gods, for they are the key to unlocking the mysteries of this ancient civilization. The Greeks didn't just believe in their gods, they lived with them. Every aspect of life was touched by the divine. Temples, majestic structures dedicated to specific deities, dotted the landscape. Offerings and sacrifices were commonplace, a way to appease and honor these powerful beings. Festivals, often extravagant, and joyous occasions celebrated the gods and their myths, reinforcing their central role in Greek society. Imagine a world where the rustling of leaves could be Zeus, the king of the gods, expressing his displeasure, or where a sudden storm at sea was Poseidon, god of the sea, unleashing his fury. It was a world where the divine was not separate, but intimately intertwined with everyday existence. Zeus, the mighty thunderer, ruled over the Olympian pantheon. His siblings, Poseidon and Hades, controlled the seas and the underworld respectively. His children, Athena, goddess of wisdom, and Apollo, god of music, light, and prophecy, were central figures in countless tales. These weren't just stories of power, though. They were narratives of love, betrayal, cunning, and revenge. Take the story of Prometheus, the titan who defied Zeus to bring fire to humanity, or the epic journeys of heroes like Heracles, forced to undertake 12 seemingly impossible labors as penance for a terrible crime. These myths explored the human condition, our strengths, our flaws, and our place within the grand scheme of the cosmos. Section 4. Culture steeped in mythology. The Greeks were master storytellers, and nowhere was this more evident than in their myths. These stories were passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of Greek culture and identity. These weren't just bedtime stories, they were teaching tools, moral guides, and explanations for the mysteries of the world. They provided answers to life's big questions and offered a framework for understanding the universe. The myths were performed in grand theatres, recited by poets, and depicted on exquisite pottery and sculptures. These artistic expressions ensured that the stories remained alive and vibrant in the collective memory of the people. The Olympic Games, a tradition that continues to this day, were a tribute to Zeus. They were not just athletic competitions, but also religious festivals that celebrated the gods. Athletic prowess was seen as a form of worship, a way to honor the gods through physical excellence. Training and competing were considered sacred acts that demonstrated devotion and reverence. Even the design of their cities, often built around temples and sacred sites, reflected the pervasive influence of their beliefs. The architecture and layout were deeply intertwined with their spiritual and religious practices. For the Greeks, mythology wasn't just a collection of stories, it was life itself. It shaped their worldview, influenced their daily lives, and provided a sense of purpose and connection to the divine. This is gonna blow your mind. Athens isn't just about ancient ruins and mythology. Its vibrant nightlife, with bars, pubs, and nightclubs, offers an unforgettable experience where dancers groove to the best tunes. The rise of Rome. Centuries after the peak of Greek civilization, a new power rose in the Mediterranean Rome. This burgeoning city-state would eventually grow into one of the most formidable empires in history. The Romans, while forging their own distinct identity, were deeply influenced by the Greeks. They admired Greek art, philosophy, and governance, integrating these elements into their own culture. They adopted and adapted Greek mythology, often identifying their own gods with their Greek counterparts. This blending of cultures enriched Roman religious practices and beliefs. Jupiter, king of the Roman gods, became synonymous with Zeus, the supreme deity of the Greek pantheon. Mars, the god of war, with Ares, embodying the fierce and martial spirit of both cultures. Venus, the goddess of love, with Aphrodite. This syncretism was a hallmark of Roman adaptability. This cultural exchange wasn't one-sided. The Greeks, too, were influenced by Roman innovations and practical approaches. The Romans, with their vast empire and practical minds, brought their own interpretations and influences to Greek mythology. They reinterpreted myths to reflect their own values and societal norms. They codified the myths, wrote them down, and spread them throughout their vast territories. This ensured the preservation and dissemination of these stories for future generations. They built temples dedicated to Greek gods in far-flung corners of their empire. These structures stood as symbols of Roman power and cultural integration. Through Roman might, Greek mythology achieved an even wider reach and lasting legacy. The stories of gods and heroes transcended borders, influencing countless cultures and societies.